Hello everyone, welcome to day 206 of playing chess every day for a year. Let's find the game. And we get e4, so I'll just play the Caro-Kann here. They play d4, I'll go straight for d5. They push, so I'll play bishop to f5. Then e6, then c5. They choose to play g4, which is a really weird move to play. Obviously I can't take because the queen would take. If I play bishop e4, they only have one move. But the problem is if I play bishop to e4, once they push, I'm just forced to go back. Maybe bishop e4 is good in forcing them to push because that just makes so many weaknesses around their king, which I could use. For example, bishop e4, if f3, and I slide back, I can open up my queen to give a check and just have a very nice position. I think I'll play bishop e4. If they stop me with f3, I'll just go back. If knight to f3, the knight will be pinned to the rook. So they do go for the move f3. I have to go back to g6 now. And I think now I'm actually doing quite well because if I can play e6, it opens up my bishop and my queen. My queen will be able to give a check to stop them from castling and bring their king to the center. I don't see the idea behind, really don't see the idea behind bishop f4 because if they push, it doesn't threaten that much. I'm going to play e6 anyway, just opening up a nice check. Maybe one idea they have now, if I go h4 check, they can probably block. They have dark squad weaknesses around their king. That's a nice move which threatens to trap my bishop. I'm almost forced to play h6 here. I don't think f6 is a good move at all. Although f6, if they go here. Yeah, that's not very good for me. I'll just play h6 here. If they push, I can't really... Oh, I can actually capture. They do temper my queen though. I am seeing this as a weakness now. They actually go ahead and push. I'm fine with just dropping back. Maybe I should play bishop e7, bishop h4 check. Just to prevent them from castling. They want to trade and I'm essentially forced to trade here. I think they have to take with the queen because if they take with the pawn, I play queen b6 and I have a fork here which could be very nice. They go ahead and take. If I play c5, they don't have much that could be good for them. If they take, I just develop my queen. My knight, sorry. A check now isn't so good. Maybe queen b6 is good just to threaten to push. I like the idea of giving them a check though. They can't really stop it. This does trap my own knight, but bishop h4 check is just a nice move. Weakening their king. Queen h6 is always an idea to attack the b2 weakness. I mean, now I just go for check. They can't really stop me from doing anything else here. And I think my next move would be bishop g5, protected 2 times, forcing the bishop to leave or to take. This actually just helps me pin the bishop to the king. That's a very weak move. Check doesn't do much, they can block in many different ways. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and pin the bishop here. They could just slide over to defend it, and that would be good. Yeah, I think I'll start bringing my knight into the game. Also, they're not threatening to take now, so I can always just leave that side of the board. Queen b6, threatening to push, attacking this. They don't really have any checks. It's a very weird pawn structure. If they have a take, I just take, and I'm fine. This would become weak, but right now I'm threatening to almost win the rook. Although if I take, if they play knight c3, that's a danger. That move, it doesn't undefend the bishop, but if I push, they can just take. If I push, they just take. That doesn't work. Could just develop my knights to some natural squares. I think I'll start by just playing knight d7, bring my rook, and just slowly building up on this side. I never want to take this to open up that bishop. They go ahead and take. I'm fine with that. They go ahead and push. If I take, it just helps them develop a piece. I could now play f6. But f6 has to be a terrible move, which just weakens my position a lot. Although f6, if they take, I'll just recapture. f6 if they take, I capture here and I'm threatening a fork. I'll see what happens, I'll just play f6 here. This is such a weird position. I can always just play c5 now also. Takes, takes. Well, I don't have to take here. Takes opens up this line next to my king, which I dislike. This is protected many times, so I think I could actually just go for c5 now. Threaten the fork. If they take, I take with the knight. I'm threatening this very powerful fork. They go ahead and take. I'll go ahead and threaten the fork on e4. I'm worried about this structure they have here because it's very strong. Could try to break it. I need to get my king castled also. I think they've completely blundered the game away here, because I just have a clean fork. They step up. I'll just take their queen. If they take here, I can always slide up. They can take. I think I should probably just go ahead and take her. I could push, but that doesn't threaten much. I'm really worried about this structure, so I'll go ahead and break it. They go ahead and push through. I could go ahead and just block up this piece, this part of the board. With knight h6, if they push, I can just take. Could also just go ahead and castle, and but then pushing would be very annoying for me. Knight h6 is nice. If they push, they will lose the pawn. I'm also attacking g4, which would then threaten a fork on f2. Also taking would give me this check, which would be mid. Yeah, I don't think they can allow me to take on here. So I think now I'll simply just play rook d8 and push. I could also just slowly push through. That's a very weak move that they played. I'll start with rook d8. They target my queen, but that just looks like it loses the knight after queen b5. So I don't see the idea behind that. They step back. I'll just take the piece. And pushing the central pawns will probably help me win the game. I could even run my king to g7. They target the weakness that I have. I think I can just give a check though. Could just slide my king up, which also defends. It also works. If they ever go here, they just lose the pawn. They target my queen again, but I think that can't be a good move. I now have a check. The king slides up. I have a check here. My queen is very active. And I can push. When the knight moves, I can target the rook. Queen g3 looks nice. If they allow me to play d3, the game is over, because if we trade I pick up the rook. They're threatening to take a pawn, but nothing else that's really important. I can just push here. They don't have any good checks. Taking a7 doesn't really matter. If they allow me to push, I simply just promote. If they take, I win the rook. If they play rook d1, I can push. And then I think the simplest thing to do would actually be to sacrifice my queen, making a new one and picking up the other rook. And the game would be over. They can't take on d3. I did see this move, that's a very nice move that they found. Takes, if the king takes, I mean I can still push through. I could actually just double up on the pawn also. I think I simply just take. I don't want to complicate the game too much. The king does take. Now I have this check. I also have this check, which was almost made. This also just picks up the rook. And if king c2, no, I can't play queen d1, but I can just pin the knight. And they do resign eventually. Let's look at this game. They played at a 72.5, I played at an 83.1. I made 3 mistakes this game, they made 1 blunder. I played like a 1700, they played like a 1300. The opening was very good. It was all theory. I had to play h5 and just be aggressive here, because this lets them trap my bishop. I have to trade. c5 is a good move. That's a mistake. I should have just taken, because if they took, what happens if takes and takes? I then play c5, and they can't really defend this. I'm threatening a fork. It's a tough position to play. Instead I play f6, which wasn't a good move, but it wasn't a terrible move. c5 here was actually a mistake, because it allows them to just develop. They end up playing f6 here, which they clearly missed the fork that I was threatening. I pick up the queen, and from here I was completely winning for the rest of the game. I just make simple moves, pick up material, and there's nothing they can do to stop me. That'll be it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.